watched him pack his boxes in the hallway while I sipped mimosa-laden brunch, the words rebound that stuck echoing in my mind, instantly shattering everything and leaving my heart the moment that revealed how disastrously I'd misread my own story. I'm Maya, 29, a marketing director who has spent the last 2 years building a brand that sells confidence in a bottle. I knew how to craft a perfect Instagram feed, how to caption a sunset with just the right dose of vulnerability, and how to convince myself that I was the one in control. When Jake walked into my life 3 months after my ex, Alex, ghosted me, I told myself I was simply filling a void. He's a rebound, I whispered to my best friend, Leela, over a glass of rose, but maybe he'll stay long enough to prove I'm over Alex. At first, the plan felt harmless. I let him stay in my spare bedroom, a space I'd never used since my college roommate moved out. I let him think I was generous, that I was the type of woman who doesn't play games. In reality, I was playing the biggest game of all, testing whether I could keep someone around without feeling the sting of abandonment again. The first red flag appeared the night I posted a carousel of our first dinner on Instagram, captioned, "New chapters start with good food and better company." My followers flooded the post with heart emojis, but my sister, Maya, yes, we share a name, commented, "You're moving too fast, sis. Remember how Alex disappeared after you posted his birthday cake?" I laughed it off, typing, "He's not Alex. He's different." Inside, a tiny voice whispered that I was using Jake as a mirror, not a man. Jake, for his part, was quiet, almost too quiet. He'd spent his days scrolling through my stories, liking every picture of my brunches, my hikes, my late-night work sessions. He never asked for a selfie together, he let my life be the backdrop to his own. I told myself that was the sign of a good rebound, someone who didn't need constant validation. In truth, his silence was a shield. He was watching, measuring, waiting for the moment I'd slip. 3 weeks in, I threw a welcome home dinner for Jake's friends, hoping the social proof would cement his place in my life. The night was a blur of laughter, cheap wine, and a playlist that I'd curated to feel effortlessly cool. As I poured a glass for Jake, his roommate, Sam, leaned over and whispered, "You're lucky she's got a brand. She could have ghosted you by now, but she's keeping you around because she needs the story." My stomach dropped. I hadn't realized the narrative I was building was being dissected by everyone who mattered to me. The next day, I posted a story of the dinner with the caption, "Living my best life with the best people." The story got 2,300 views, but the comment section was a minefield. My coworker, Priya, wrote, "You look happy, but are you sure this is what you want, or just what you think you should want?" I replied with a laughing emoji, but the seed of doubt had already sprouted. Meanwhile, Jake started leaving his shoes by the door, a tiny rebellion against the guest status I'd assigned him. He began fixing the leaky faucet in the kitchen without asking, and I caught him humming while scrubbing the bathroom tiles. I told myself, he's just being helpful. Yet, each act felt like a silent accusation, a reminder that I was the one who had placed him in a corner labeled temporary. On a rainy Thursday, I was scrolling through Facebook, seeing a photo of Alex, my ex, on a beach with a new partner. The comment section exploded with "Look at him thriving," and "You'll see, Maya, you'll be fine." My heart hammered. I posted a quick status feeling grateful for the little things. In the background, Jake walked in, his eyes flicking to the screen. He didn't say anything, but his shoulders slumped. I realized I had turned my heartbreak into a public performance, and Jake was the unwitting understudy. That night, I called Leela, my confidant, and confessed. I told Jake he was my rebound that stuck. "I think I'm scared he'll stay longer than I want." Leela's voice was calm, almost clinical. "Maya, you're using him as a safety net. If you keep treating him like a placeholder, you'll lose him and yourself." I laughed, half-heartedly. "I'm not losing anyone. I'm just testing the waters." She replied, "You're drowning in your own expectations." The call ended, and I stared at the ceiling, the words reverberating like a broken record. The next morning, I woke up to a text from Jake, "Can we talk?" I assumed it was about the faucet. He arrived with a suitcase in hand, his eyes tired but resolute. "I'm moving out," he said, voice steady. "I can't be the rebound that's stuck in someone's story. I need a chapter where I'm the author." My mouth went dry. I tried to argue, "You can stay, we're good together." He shook his head. "No, Maya, I'm done being a footnote." The words hit me like a freight train, instantly destroying the illusion I'd built. In that instant, the power dynamic flipped. I, who had always dictated the terms, what we ate, where we went, when we posted, found myself powerless. Jake, the man I'd labeled as temporary, walked out with his dignity intact, leaving a half-empty box of his belongings and a stark reminder that I couldn't control everything. The hallway, once a neutral space, now felt like a courtroom where my decisions were on trial. Friends gathered at my apartment that afternoon, each offering their version of what had gone wrong. Sam, Jake's roommate, said he told me he felt like a prop. He wanted to be seen, not used. Maya's sister, Maya, yes, again, whispered, "You always pick people who need you more than you need them. It's a pattern." Leela, ever the therapist, added, "You're scared of being alone, so you cling to anyone who shows up, even if they're just a placeholder." Their voices formed a chorus of validation that I couldn't ignore. I posted a story that night, a simple black screen with the text, "Sometimes the hardest part is letting go of the role you wrote for yourself." It received 1,800 views, 300 comments, and a flood of DMs. One friend wrote, "You're brave for admitting it." Another said, "We've all been there, Maya." The digital applause felt hollow, but it was the first time I let the narrative be written by someone else, by the collective truth of those who saw me. In the days that followed, I found myself replaying the moment Jake left, analyzing every word, every gesture. I realized I had never truly asked him what he wanted. I only asked what I needed. My brand taught confidence, yet I'd been terrified to show vulnerability. I'd turned a personal crisis into a marketing campaign, using hashtags like new beginnings while my own life was falling apart. The turning point came when I received a DM from a stranger who'd seen my brunch post. "I'm going through a similar rebound thing," she wrote. "Your honesty helped me see I'm not alone." I responded, "We're all learning. It's okay to be messy." That exchange reminded me that my story could serve a purpose beyond self-validation. It could be a mirror for others. I decided to delete the spare bedroom photo from my feed, the one where I was smiling with a welcome home banner in the background. I replaced it with a candid shot of my empty hallway, the box still half-packed, a caption that read, "Sometimes the space you make for someone is the space you need to find yourself." The post went viral, garnering comments from people who admitted they'd been rebound too. The irony was that my most authentic, unfiltered moment received the most love. Meanwhile, Jake's departure forced me to confront my own patterns. I booked a therapist, someone I'd always told my friends to see but never did. In our first session, I confessed, I told him he was a rebound that stuck, but I think I was the one stuck. My therapist nodded. "You've been using relationships as a safety net against your own fear of abandonment. It's not about the other person, it's about your inner narrative." The therapy sessions were uncomfortable, each revelation a small explosion that shattered another piece of my carefully curated self. I learned that my need for social proof, likes, comments, the constant buzz of notifications, was a proxy for genuine connection. I'd been measuring my worth by the number of hearts on a photo, not by the depth of a conversation. 3 weeks later, I ran into Jake at a coffee shop. He was alone, reading a book, his smile genuine. He looked up, surprised, then said, "Hey, Maya." I felt a pang of regret, but also relief. "Hey," I replied, "I'm glad you're okay." We talked briefly about work, about the book he was reading, an essay on modern masculinity, and about how we both were trying to rewrite our stories. He thanked me for the honesty I'd shown online. It had helped him see his own worth beyond being a rebound. Walking out, I realized that the most shocking, devastating part of my story was Jake moving out while I was at brunch. It was the moment I finally understood that the rebound label was a mask I'd placed on myself, a way to avoid confronting the emptiness I feared. The real rebound was the part of me that had been stuck in a loop of validation, never daring to be vulnerable without an audience. Now, when I sit at my desk drafting copy for a brand that sells confidence, I pause and ask myself, am I selling a product or a lie? I've started a new campaign, not for a product, but for authenticity. The tagline reads, "Own the mess. Share the truth." It's raw, it's unpolished, and it's exactly what my followers have been craving. The journey from rebound that stuck to rebound that liberated has been a roller coaster of shame, self-awareness, and eventual redemption. My Instagram now features less filtered selfies and more candid moments, me, coffee in hand, notebook open, writing down the things I'm learning about myself. My followers comment, "Your growth is real," and I finally feel that the validation I seek comes from within, not from a like count. If there's one thing I've learned, It's that relationships are not placeholders for personal insecurities. They're mirrors that reflect back what we need to fix inside ourselves. Jake's sudden exit while I was at brunch shattered my illusion, but it also exposed a truth I'd been avoiding. I'm responsible for my own emotional architecture. So, to anyone reading this, wondering if your rebound will ever become something more, ask yourself, are you building a bridge for them, or are you building a wall for yourself? The answer will determine whether you end up moving out of a hallway while sipping brunch, or staying in a space where you finally feel whole. And that, dear reader, is the story I'm finally ready to share, unfiltered, unapologetic, and for once, genuinely my own.